NBA, from short-term contract to Bulls Dominator. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 41. In fact, eating Howard alone is very simple. Just imitate Yao Ming to play, whether it's in the NBA or on the international stage. As long as Howard meets Yao Ming, designated dumb, Yao Ming is his nemesis, a mountain that he cannot climb no matter what. In this area of attacking from the low position, Yao Ming has many practical skills. False shake feints, dream footsteps plus rollover jumpers, weak side hooks, and back turns to break through the dunk or layups. Old fans who have watched Dayo play know that these moves are Yao Ming's housekeeping skills. Once in a game, Dayo only used a hook to blow up Howard. After all, Yao Ming is too tall for Howard to block. And in terms of physical confrontation, Yao Ming is not afraid of Howard. He has physical fitness, no matter how strong he is, he can't stand Yao Ming. Yao Ming, who has just entered the alliance, is like a big bamboo pole, tall and thin. Then, at the suggestion of head coach Rudy Tomjanovich, Yao tried to gain weight and work lower body strength. Later, Yao Ming stood on the inner line, like a mountain, fighting against his body. He was really not afraid of anyone. Qin Yang ate Howard alone this round, so he used a weak side small hook. This kind of weak side hook can protect your own shot. The drop instantly hits the board, somewhat similar to Duncan's 45-degree angle. Qin Yang made a move, and the basketball fell quickly. Howard jumped up, instinctively capped, but hurriedly withdrew, because he found that if the ball is blocked, it is a jamming ball. Ugh. Qin Yang hit a weak side small hook and easily scored the ball. Howard had no choice but to watch Qin Yang score. Putz-a-tin. China Qin's beautiful weak side hook hand, the monster jumped but did not block. If this ball is covered, it is an interference ball. The game has just begun, and Warcraft can't pay for a foul. A Smith spoke. Winter picked up the conversation next to him. Yes, this ball fell quickly, so that the monster did not dare to block it easily. China Qin used a hook hand to easily hit this ball. I have to say that Qin Yang is very smart in playing. Know where to be, and what offensive to use. Running back to the backfield defense, Qin Yang mentioned that at the top of the paint area, he was going to start playing Ziyu and Dun's defense against the sky. Jamil Nelson advances with the ball and Clash Rose at the top of the arc. I thought about losing Ross, but I almost lost the ball. Fortunately, he reacted quickly enough to hurriedly pick up the ball and pass it back to Tekaglu. Tekaglu gets the ball and tries to break through Roar Dun, pull one step away and prepare to release the three-step basket. In the paint area, Qin Yang had already raised it. Men who claim to be from 1 defense to 5 are never forced to joke with any guys. In Kuriko's basketball, there are no more than 5 people who have a hard front and can send the ball into the basket. Tekaglu, is this going for a layup? China Qin has already pressed up, his defensive coverage is very large, and Tekaglu is looking for death. China Qin helps Luo Erdang to assist in defense, and Tekaglu jumps up for a layup and dodges in the air. Don't hide, in the face of absolute strength, all the carving insect tricks are floating clouds. Tekaglu also imitated the supergiant to shoot a stagnant pull bar for a layup. Can he? I really think of myself as Kobe, Jordan, and Pierce. Qin Yang had already set his sights on him, and Tekaglu made a move. The body deformed in the air, and he did everything he could, but he could not escape Qin Yang's cover. This is my territory, get down. Qin Yang roared angrily and slapped on the rebound. Nailboard big hat. It's hard for anyone to come in. In the first game against the Bucks, Qin Yang showed an inexplicable defensive ability. The biggest advantage of nailing board caps is that they can be converted into effective balls and will not fly out of the basketball racket. Qin Yang took the ball and passed it back to Ross, who had already made a fast attack. Fast attack consciousness, Ross is top-notch. He stood at the top of the arc and saw Qin Yang's nail plate big hat Tekaglu, and immediately ran ahead of time. Qin Yang made a long pass and accurately gave it to Ross. Ross dribbled the ball, quickly hit the magic basket, and then came with a gorgeous one-handed dunk. In the first minute, Qin Yang blocked +2, which is not terrifying. Haha, we saw Qin Luo connected again. China Qin nail plate big hat Tekaglu, long pass to Derrick. Then Derrick was very fast attacking. There were no defenders around, and he scored with a one-handed smash. 6 o'clock. The Bulls are on both ends of the offensive and defensive ends and are in control. Next round, the Magic were annoyed, and Howard blocked the pit high. Pitchers had a tacit understanding to distribute the ball to Howard, who cut inside. Howard received the pass, took a step away from the paint area, and jumped up blatantly. Split buckle? In front of him is Qin Yang, and he wants to lead the team to play momentum. Above Qin Yang's head, stage a violent buckle. In the past, facing other insiders, Howard often bullied others like this. He who runs faster is not as high as him, and he who is taller than he is not as fast as him. And Howard, at his peak, is also very good at bouncing. The paint area jumped up, and it was violently buckled across Qin Yang. This goal was scored by Howard, which must have boosted the morale of the Magic. The 2 commentators at the technical desk were immediately dumbfounded. Winter couldn't help but shout, Omega. Warcraft paint area jumps, this is a violent buckle. China Qin will become the background board of Warcraft. This kind of ball is Warcraft's favorite rhythm. Use his super physical fitness to dunk that damn ball into the basket. United Center Arena, tens of thousands of fans witnessed Howard paint zone people buckling. Suddenly, countless people pinched a cold sweat for Qin Yang. This ball, it is estimated that Qin Yang will be abused by Howard. Episode 42. Is it abuse? Not necessarily. The absolute defense of the restricted area meant that Qin Yang could not be frightened by a dunk. He had already guessed what Howard was going to do. Very consciously looking for the best cap position, the moment Howard plucked the onion dryland, Qin Yang jumped with him. A pair of big hands whistled and slapped over. Omega. China Qin's judgment of the cap of this ball was very accurate. Warcraft is going to be covered. God. I really can't imagine that the first quarter opened so fiercely. If China Qin continues to give the Warcraft hot pot cap, then this is China Qin in the opening time period of this section, capping the Magic team 3 times in a row. Terrifying defensive abilities. The two commentators were pressing Lai Lai, and Qin Yang slapped over, destroying Howard's dunk. Beep. At the same time, the referee's whistle actually sounded, blowing Qin Yang's defensive foul. Qin Yang landed on the ground and looked at the referee in confusion. What the heck? This ball he fouled? It is clear that a slap hit the basketball, and there was no hitter. Where did the foul come from? Qin Yang went to find the referee's theory, but the referee did not pay attention at all, and insisted on awarding Qin Yang a foul on the beater. Shit, will you be punished? How did this ball China foul Qin? The alliance pays you. Is it for you to be funny? Bulls fans weren't happy. Good guys, this is still the home of the United Center. Referee, you play like this? Not afraid of going out and being killed? Vinny Dinegro also went to the referee theory, and from a side perspective, Qin Yang did not foul. Sturdy on the basketball, destroying the Warcraft's blocker buckle. How did it become a thug foul in the eyes of the referee? The referee was very temperamental and chose to ignore Vinny Dinegro's rant, and also raised his hand and gestured. He's warning Vinny Dinegro, babbling again, giving you a technical offense or a penalty from the field. Vinny Dinegro was angry, but didn't say anything more. Qin Yang was also very annoyed, and Luo Erdang and several people came over to signal Qin Yang to calm down. In the NBA, it is not unusual for there to be some star whistles and home whistles. If the referee blows the penalty, there is no way to change it. Otherwise, wouldn't the referee be very faceless? Qin Yang shook his head. It's just a foul. A foul is a foul. Howard's free throw percentage, give him a chance. He doesn't necessarily have to make a free throw. He can't get punished. Sure enough, the whole league knows Howard's sparse free throw percentage, and he has a fight with O'Neal. Bulls fans booed Howard wildly, disturbing his mind. First penalty, bang the iron. The second penalty is not yet in. I know his free throws suck. Bang. The mouth of the fan brother on the sidelines must have been opened, and his speech was particularly smart. Howard was sad, and the referee gave him a chance, and he didn't use it. 2 free throws are not scored. Haha, I said it, he didn't get 2 free throws. The grumpy old brother shouted, Dwight, it's better to go home and practice your damn free throws. You are not as good as Shaq and China Qin in the low position, and you are far worse than Yao in free throws. At your level, you still want to be the #1 center in the league. You dream of going. Some fans just talk well, and if you can talk, you talk more. Qin Yang listened to the boos of the fans to Howard, and almost couldn't hold back his laughter. Howard's face was ugly, but I can't refute it. It seems that the irascible old brother is reasonable. Low post defensive skills are far inferior to O'Neal and Qin Yang, and free throw stability is far worse than Yao Ming. He can only grab rebounds, brush blocks, or cut inside and push fast to attack some pie balls. Damn it. Howard cursed, turning resentment into strength. Defensively, he has to open and close, and no one wants to enter the Magic's box to score. The Bulls attack the ball. Ross was in charge of the advance, passing to Roar-Dang after the breakthrough. Roar-Dang faced Tekaglu, clicked it, and stepped back to make a jumper. The basketball spun and galloped in the air, but unfortunately did not go in. Qin Yang immediately activated the Heavenly God rebound, ready to take away the front court rebound, but looked down on Howard, although he can predict the rebounding position. On the other side, it was firmly stuck by the Warcraft and could not get by at all. Trying to split the ball, but not getting it, Howard took this backcourt rebound. He dribbled a few steps with the ball to Nelson. Nelson pressed the rhythm and waited until his teammates came up and passed to Lewis. Lewis's scoring ability is still quite good, averaging 186 points per game last season. On the Magic, second only to Howard, Lewis made a short corner throw from the left and hit a goal. Easy to fight again. Ross gave the ball to Qin Yang inside, and of the 5 of them, only Qin Yang scored the most consistently. Another single-handed showdown, Qin Yang tough Howard. The first 2 times, Howard was pinched by Qin Yang. This round said that everything would stop Qin Yang. Otherwise, after the game, people say that he is a monster and was abused by a rookie who has only played 3 games. Where to put this face? Dear audience friends, it's China Qin facing the monster again. Let's see, how will China Qin's low-level attack end Warcraft? On the court, tens of thousands of pairs of eyes stared at Qin Yang's every move. Holding the ball with his back and shaking it faintly, Howard wanted to block Qin Yang too much. Excited to become a jumping man, he jumped up in an instant and slapped up. As a result, this was miserably tricked by Qin Yang. The moment he jumped, Qin Yang turned around with the ball and struck a Thunder God hammer. The surrounding fury is true and pervasive. Suddenly, Howard was taken aback. Looking at Qin Yang's gaze, he was filled with stunned and shocked. Episode 43. Meanwhile, far across the ocean, the Dragon Kingdom. CCTV5 Studio, which is broadcasting the Bulls vs Magic game live. Since Qin Yang's explosion in the Dragon Kingdom, CCTV5 not only broadcasts Rockets games, but occasionally broadcasts Bulls events. This is the butterfly effect of Dragon Kingdom players entering the NBA, and the power of the masses is great. Many netizens posted and sent that kind of feed-deducted text message to the live broadcast room, begging CCTV5 to broadcast the Bulls game, because they love watching Qin Yang play. So, taking advantage of the fact that the Rockets did not play today, CCTV5 immediately broadcast the Bulls' schedule. In the live broadcast room, it is extremely lively. A row of small print at the bottom of the public screen is full of speeches from fans in various regions. In 2008, smartphones were not yet fully widespread. The general public watches the game, and there is only one option: standing by the TV and waiting for the game to start. And in this era of the Dragon Kingdom, fans can send text messages to the live broadcast room, then discuss which star is better, the tactics of each team, who is traded to which team, etc. And this way of text messaging costs money. If memory serves, a text message seems to be $1, and by the way, you can also participate in the lottery. Older fans must be familiar with this operation. The commentator of today's live broadcast of Bulls and Magic is the well-known commentator of the Dragon Kingdom, Teacher Zhang Weiping and Teacher Yang Yi. Their explanations accompanied many post-90s fans and post-00s fans growing up. In the studio, there is also a beautiful woman with a tall and hot figure and a beautiful appearance no less than Sister Zhou. She is sexy, she is generous, she has an elegant temperament, she has all the advantages of an Oriental woman. When he smiled, there were two shallow pear swirls on his pretty face, with a hint of playfulness in his sexiness. She is the famous anchor royal sister of the basketball industry of the Dragon Kingdom, Lin Yushuan. In fact, those LSPs pay to send text messages, not all to discuss stars, and participate in sweepstakes. Because any high-rated text message in the studio will be read out in Lin Yushuan's rosy little mouth. Being able to hear the goddess personally read out the text messages she sent is very satisfying for those LSPs. Belch, spiritually YY satisfied. Lin Yushuan graduated from Yenching University, not only looks beautiful like a flower, but also a top student. The reason why she entered the basketball industry was completely accidental. Last year, Kobe Long National Bank, Lin Yushuan followed the interview throughout the interview, and because of his fluent English, he was said to have easily passed the 8th level. An event was organized in the school to let Lin Yushuan take the lead in welcoming Kobe. It was also on that day that Lin Yushuan, a sexy goddess, completely entered the public's field of vision. Her elegant conversation, perfect elegant temperament, good family background, and Yen University bully. These identities were superimposed together, causing Lin Yushuan to quickly become popular in the basketball arena of the Dragon Country, then developed into a basketball anchor, and served as a basketball baby by the way. Take a few photos and post them on major forums, and immediately have more than 1 million views. Goddess Lin Yushuan, taking away the first time of thousands of teenagers. This is not a joke. In the online video, there are also alumni who photographed Lin Yushuan playing ball. Don't look at people who are a scholar, just think they are nerds. Not and not also. Lin Yushuan plays very well. The 3-point shooting is quite accurate, the 3-step basket is something, and the play is called good. With a height of about 178 centimeters, Lin Yushuan can make small tricks that boys often play on the court. At this time, Lin Yushuan looked at the text messages sent by netizens in all regions of the country, smiled, elegantly brushed the hair in front of his forehead, and said, "Teacher Zhang, and Teacher Yang, this is a text message from a netizen from the southwest region. He asked us, is there a chance for Qin Yang to join the CBA? Haha." When Zhang Weiping and Yang Yi heard this, they were happy. It is estimated that this is unlikely, with Qin Yang's ability to play in these 3 games. He plays in the CBA, which is equivalent to dominating the entire league. Any team in the CBA to get Qin Yang is like playing a game and opening a plug-in, which is actually extremely detrimental to the development of our domestic league. Qin Yang, this player, although he has just emerged in the NBA, but I feel that in the future, this piece of the inner line, except for Yao Ming, will be Qin Yang's world. What do you think of this, young guide? Zhang Weiping set his sights on Yang Yi. Yang Yi rubbed his chin with one hand and nodded. Well, I think Director Zhang is right. Qin Yang's competitive level comes to the CBA, which is bound to destroy our internal development environment. I think Qin Yang should cash in his talent in the NBA. Where is his stage? Well, I feel that way too. Lin Yushuan nodded after listening to the speeches of the 2 guides. Turning his head to look at Qin Yang, who was almost invincible in the broadcast screen, Lin Yushuan's unwavering heart trembled slightly. This is the first time she has seen a Dragon Kingdom player who can play this phenomenal performance in the NBA. She really wanted to interview Qin Yang, communicate with Qin Yang face to face, and ask Qin Yang's mental journey. What changed? Let Qin Yang enter the NBA in the Development League and conquer countless fans in only 3 games. Fortunately, this day is not far away. CCTV5 TV station will send a group of media personnel to Chicago to meet with Qin Yang face to face. After all, this is the second Dragon Country player besides Yao Ming to establish a foothold in the NBA. The media people sent by the TV station were Yang Yi, Zhang Weiping, and Lin Yushuan. Lin Yushuan's duty is to interview Qin Yang. After all, among the 3, she is the most fluent in English. When you go to Chicago, you can interview Qin Yang without pressure. and take it with you to interview other NBA players. Episode 44. When the Dragon Kingdom was talking about Qin Yang on this side, the joint center on the other side had already played the first quarter of the game. The two sides gave high-quality matches, but in terms of overall rhythm, the Magic were slightly inferior. The score was 30-23 in the first quarter, and the Bulls led by 7 points. Qin Yang's performance is still stable, swept the thousands, scoring 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 blocks in a single quarter. It is estimated that after this game, Qin Yang alone can blast down 7 or 8 blocks. The first quarter was blocked 3 times, which is simply terrifying data. Fans who don't know, they thought they were playing volleyball. After a short break, the two sides ushered in the second quarter of the showdown. Opening with the Magic taking possession, Nelson faced Rose's defense and broke through quickly, leaving Rose out of position. He swooped in, only to find that it was a sinkhole. Nelson flipped the game, added a cross step to pull the ball back, and then stepped back to score a three-pointer. This three-point shot was crucial to keep the Magic alive. At 30-26, the Bulls were just 4 points ahead of the Magic. Easy to fight again. Rose attacked, Nelson had just hit him, and he had to return. In a sense, Ross is good-tempered, but also has the arrogance of being a champion. In terms of breakthroughs, Nelson is not enough to see. Ross used 2 sharp shifts to knock Nelson to the ground. Suddenly, the United Center arena resounded with boiling cheers. I haven't seen the appearance of the ankle Terminator for a long time. Among the defenders, the one who dangled the most opponents should be Allen Iverson. Then there is the Lone Wolf Marbury. Yao Ming's rookie season once briefly played against the Lone Wolf Marbury, who was easily shaken by Marbury. At that moment, Yao Ming must be embarrassed. But later, Yao Ming quickly adjusted his mentality and continued to fight. This time, Ross struck 2 beautiful big changes of direction and shook Nelson. Another acceleration, burrowing inside and jumping in front of Howard for a layup. How could Howard let Ross succeed? A pair of big black hands rounded, and he exhaled viciously. Ross saw that the situation was not good, and when he was about to land, he changed his strategy. From the first layup to passing, hands went around Howard's huge body and shoved the ball to Qin Yang on the left side. Qin Yang received the ball and slammed his hand. This is the power of internal and external linkage. Once upon a time, Peter Pan Bryant and Shark O'Neal often made this perfect match in the box. Derrick's pass, assist China Qin easily scored 2 points. This ball beast struggled to block, but it made Derrick temporarily change his strategy and switch the attack to assists. I have to say that Derrick's physical coordination in the air is indeed excellent, and in this case, he can accurately give the ball to China Qin. On the court, Qin Yang and Ross high-fived in celebration. This kind of eating cake balls, Qin Yang liked it the most. Effortlessly scored 2 points. The Magic immediately shot back. Howard had a dismal shooting percentage in this game, and was specially taken care of by Qin Yang, and he only scored 4 points. And these 4 points are not easy to come by. A ball was blind, and he shot and scored in front of Qin Yang. Where did Qin Yang think that this guy Howard actually came to shoot shots? He shot very poorly. Qin Yang was too lazy to defend, and as a result, he was scored a goal by Warcraft. On this round, Howard fell low, and Petrus got the ball into his hands. He turned around and hooked his hand, but with a bit of bad luck, he bounced a few times on the basket and failed to get in. Qin Yang looked, good guy, still imitate me hook hands? It's a pity that your sparse hit rate, go home and practice well. Qin Yang confiscated the rebound and passed the ball to Ross. Ross pushed the fast attack, there was no chance, and Nelson and Petrus, who returned to the defense, quickly caught up. As a last resort, Ross pressed the rhythm and waited for his teammates to return to their positions. Then break through to create containment, near the free throw line on the right and pass to Ben Gordon, who is ambushed in the bottom corner. Ben Gordon catches the ball and brews a shot. Basketball should be on the net. Fixed point shooting. Ben Gordon's shooting percentage is still good. The hard thing is that Ben Gordon doesn't have the ability to attack with the ball. He has the ball and makes a lot of mistakes. The Bulls are playing more and more smoothly, while the Magic, on the other hand, are in a scoring drought. It wasn't until 7:36 into the second quarter that the Magic scored a goal. During this period, the Bulls have scored 4 goals in a row with internal and external linkages. This wave of 8 o'clock climactic drama almost killed the Magic team. Their head coach Stan Van Gundy saw that if they continued to play like this, the game would collapse. So he decisively called a wave of timeouts, rearranged tactics, and cheered the players again. Paused the Magic team to get their hands back. Nelson fired from the outside and hit 2 consecutive three-pointers. Don't look at this guy, is only 183 centimeters tall, but he is the main scoring force of the Magic. He averaged 166 points per game last season, plus 538 assists. A proper high-energy base-paid player. Nelson hit 2 three-pointers to bring the Magic back to life. Howard then made another block, causing the Bulls to switch defenses out of position. Rose singled low, this time comfortable, with a blast dunk and dunked the ball into the basket. And Qin Yang was switched to the outside defense Nelson because he switched defense with Ross. In fact, inside and outside, Qin Yang can prevent it. From 1 defense to 5, it is not bragging. Nelson also wants to break through him with bells and whistles. It's just going to the toilet in the middle of the night, looking for death. There is still a chance to cause a misalignment in the next round, depending on how you fix this little potato. Let him know how good he is. Who said that a big and tall number 5 can't defend the dexterous and changeable number 1? Then there is a misplaced defense of Nelson, and Qin Yang Fei makes it difficult for him to dribble. And this opportunity soon appeared. At 10:13 into the second quarter, the Magic made another misalignment through a block. Qin Yang was pulled out of the paint area and did not go back directly. He knew that this time Nelson wanted to eat him alone through speed. Because, while dribbling, Nelson also made provocative movements towards Qin Yang. He hooked his finger at Qin Yang and said in his mouth, "Hey, the big tall man of the Dragon Kingdom, come over and see if Lao Tzu doesn't break your legs." When Qin Yang heard this, he was stunned. What kind of stuff? Break his leg? Little brother, I have to say that you are very hanging, but you obviously found the wrong person. Qin Yang pulled his pants, squatted down, took a defensive stance, and gestured at Rosby. That gesture is telling Ross, you go low and see if I can't kill this little potato. If he can score under Lao Tzu's nose, Lao Tzu has his last name today. Episode 45. The scene of Qin Yang and Nielsen 1v1 singled out aroused the interest of countless fans. Winter, the narrator, exclaimed, "Oh, it's kind of interesting. It's a little interesting on the field now." China Qin raised from the restricted area to guard against Nelson, who just made a provocative move against China Qin. Is he going to cut points on China Qin's head? We all know that China Qin's single defense inside players are very good. Garnett, Perkins, Howard, including Andrew of the Bucks, all know China Qin's defensive ability. However, China Qin defends outside players, and it is still a single defense. We don't know if China Qin can successfully limit Nelson. Everyone has only seen Qin Yang's single defense inside player fierce. All the insiders who were in line with Qin Yang did not have good fruits to eat in the end. As strong as Garnett facing Qin Yang in the restricted area, he couldn't get the slightest bargain. However, Qin Yang raised a single defense outside player, and the world did not know. The outside player is fast and the ball is more agile. Qin Yang's height of 208 centimeters. I don't know if he can effectively limit the outside players. Okay, let's see clearly. Nelson began to attack China Qin to make a defensive posture, waiting to meet Nelson's breakthrough. After a Smith finished speaking, Nelson quickly started. In the position of point guard, Nelson is not as loved by fans as soon as he enters the league like Ross and Wilson. Not even more popular as Iverson. But his basic dribbling skills, including changing direction to break through these unique skills, have been mastered. In general, misalignment is easy to play. The center is tall and explosive, but speed is a disadvantage. Slow to act. Nelson believes that Qin Yang is a defensive gate on the inside, and out of the paint area, Qin Yang is a scumbag. He changed direction and accelerated, and he must have easily passed Qin Yang, but in fact, he took it for granted. The dribbling broke through the middle distance and found Qin Yang standing in front of him like a mountain. It took 2 consecutive sharp changes of direction, but they failed to break through Qin Yang. This scene surprised the stadium audience. China Qin's defense of the outside players is not weak at all. Even better defended than some outside players, tonnage was large, and open arms firmly covered Nelson. Nelson broke through twice in a row, but he was unsuccessful. Omega. Strangely, Nelson changed direction twice to break through, and he did not pass China Qin. China Qin is simply a monster. He is an iron tower defending the inside line, and he is like a mountain when defending the outside player. Facing this kind of guy is simply a nightmare for every opponent. Winter continued to shout loudly. All the members of the Bulls team couldn't help but be stunned. Ross knew that Nelson was quite fast, and he released 2 big changes, and he had to adjust his position to catch up. Qin Yang, on the other hand, defended Nelson, but looked relaxed. With chewing gum in his mouth, he was not in a hurry at all. Velocity? Who didn't? Simply fighting for speed, Qin Yang is much faster than Turmo Nelson. With this kind of dwarf, he can prevent Nelson from collapsing with his eyes closed. Go on? Qin Yang was ready to play with Nelson, and the chewing gum in his mouth became more vigorous. If you have the ability, you will pass me, and I will prevent you, and I will not use 3% of my strength. Poof. When Nelson heard this, he almost spewed out a mouthful of old blood. Qin Yang defended him, but he didn't use 3 successful powers? Brag? Or do you really have that ability? Damn the big tall, you are so arrogant. I didn't use my full strength. I was afraid that you would sprain your ankle, and the league would issue me a ticket when the time came. Nelson dead duck mouth hard. When it comes to this, I also specially pretend to be 13. Huh. Qin Yang gave him a look. Immediately, Nelson tried to break through for the 3rd time. This time, Qin Yang was not in the mood to play with this little man. When Nelson launched the 3rd breakthrough, Qin Yang's hand was quick, and he let Nelson pass half of his position on the right side. It's just, the moment he broke through, Qin Yang slapped Nelson's dribbling ball with a slap. Don't break through, just your sparse dribbling skills. I look at the hot eyes. Steals. Qin Yang snatched Nelson's dribbling. Nelson was stunned, only to realize that the ball had been lost. Qin Yang picked up the basketball that bounced on the floor, held it firmly in a pair of big hands, and then slapped the ball towards the magic basket. This scene was reflected in the eyes of thousands of fans, and they were immediately stunned. What the heck? The center single-handedly defended the point guard, and by the way, also steal the ball of the point guard? And this center did not play cards according to common sense, steal down, and did not pass to teammates. Hold the ball and go to the basket quickly, and then in full view of everyone, only to hear a loud bang. Qin Yang plucked the onion dryly and slammed the basketball into the basket. Steal plus slam dunk. Union Center, dead silence. It wasn't until the last 2 or 3 seconds that thousands of fans woke up from their shock. This was followed by a tsunami of cheers. God, this Dragon Kingdom is simply tall. He's Scion possessed, right? Does this work too? What? China Qin, you are a monster. Steal plus a dragon dunk. It was actually done by you in the number 5 position. You tell us, is there anything else you can't do? Chicago is strong because of you. You are the MVP in the hearts of Chicago people. The high mood of the fans was mobilized by Qin Yang. At this moment, they were convinced by Qin Yang. The 5th position can play this kind of immortal operation, which is definitely rare in life. Episode 46. And Nelson, who was humiliated, watched Qin Yang steal plus a dragon layup. He suddenly faced Jiangdong's father without a face, Magic coach Stan Van Gundy, standing on the sidelines shouting something. In an instant, Nelson wanted to dig a hole in the ground. The number 1 player was actually tackled by the number 5 position. If you say this, it is estimated that you can laugh a village of people to death. Shit, damn it, how did he steal my dribbling? Nelson muttered unconvinced. On the Bulls' side, Luo Erdang and Noah and the others ran to Qin Yang. Someone touched Qin Yang's head, and someone hugged Qin Yang and cheered. Number 5 steals number 1 and also completes a fast attack slam dunk. If they hadn't seen this with their own eyes, they wouldn't have been able to believe it. Omega. Qin, you are also super god in defending the outside. You guy, can't it be Superman? You are much better than KG, from 1 defense to 5, and the best defensive player in the league will be you. Haha, Qin steal, I give full marks, it's really cool. The teammates are all worshipping Qin Yang. Even Ross, who was paralyzed, couldn't help but give a thumbs up. I thought that Qin Yang was tall and explosive, and he could only exert defensive ability in the paint area. Only now do I find out that they were wrong. Defending the outside players, Qin Yang did better than anyone else. Ross thought that Nelson had broken through him with that kind of thing that should have put him out of place. And Qin Yang didn't, just like a mountain that covered Nelson. Nelson is like a monkey in the hands of the Buddha. No matter how he jumps out, he can't escape the 5-finger mountain of the Buddha. Qin. You are really strong, defensive outside players, you cannot lose position, and steal him. Ross sincerely admired Qin Yang. These are all trivial, I am not talking to you from 1 defense to 5. When Ross heard this, he laughed softly. There is a pervert like Qin Yang in the team, and the record is absolutely stable. Next, the Magic attacked. They were demoralized, and Petra struck iron again. The rebound was not well protected and was confiscated by Qin Yang. Looking at the time, the second quarter ended immediately. Giving Ross a push to counterattack, Ross broke through and scored a goal. Halftime is over. The Bulls disrupted the Magic's position with their iron gate-like defense and sharp offense. At 55:42, the Magic trailed by 13 points. The Bulls take a 13-point lead and enter the second half. The Magic blew the counter-offensive horn in the second half and received a glimmer of miraculous effect. Howard scored a goal on the inside. Then Lewis turned his back to tease Noah, against Noah's body, and attacked and scored another goal. The Bulls had a bit of slack, and Rose made a mistake and was scored by Nelson. The Magic were tenacious, starting the third quarter with a 6-0 mini-climax. Vinny DeNegro reminds the players not to let their guard down, and now is not the time to win and cheer. Therefore, the Bulls cheered up. Qin Yang received Noah's passing ball, and ate Howard again in the low position. Through Howard's huge 211 centimeters body, he suddenly exploded and dunked. This dunk is the clarion call for the Bulls' charge. After that, Rose hit a 3-pointer. Ben Gordon hit a mid-range jumper. Raul Deng broke through for a dunk and had Petrus do the backdrop. There was a 6-0 mini-climax for the Magic, and this time it was the Bulls' turn to play a climax. Throughout the third quarter, both sides shot well. In this way, Qin Yang did not have a chance to grab a rebound. Going into the final quarter, the Bulls still held a double-digit lead. Defensive slag is the Magic's biggest problem. Except for Howard, the other 4 have average defensive ability. In the final 5 minutes of the final quarter, the Magic tried to fight back, reduced the Bulls' double-digit margin to 9 points. That gave the Magic hope for a while, thinking they could win the Bulls in a turnaround. However, next, Qin Yang sent 2 caps in succession. Once for Lewis, once for Howard. 2 blocks, all converted into effective offense. Especially Lewis's ball. He swung past Noah, jumped in, and slapped Qin Yang in the face. Bro, are you sure you didn't get the script wrong? Against China Qin partition button? What is this not looking for death? Bulls fans know what the final end will be against Qin Yang. Don't look at the Lewis people who are tall and big, the same height as Qin Yang, and the weight tonnage is still burly than Qin Yang. Qin Yang did not scare him at all. The oncoming cap +1, Qin Yang naturally would not miss it. Divide me? Do you first ask KG if he dares to do this? Qin Yang slapped his hand and slapped it with a whistle. Lewiston felt that something was wrong, and it was too late to regret it. This cap was sturdy on the basketball, and the damn referee did not blow Qin Yang for a foul again. The basketball flew into the air, it slid straight up, and did not fly out of bounds. Qin Yang jumped closely and took the ball. This scene stunned everyone. One by one, I can't help but secretly say, this house is too perverted. Cover yourself and control the ball? Looking at the NBA historical cap king, there is no Qin Yang can show. This brother of the Dragon Kingdom simply achieved the Tianxiu and Tihua show to the extreme. Brothers, come, please give Shower a seat. China Qin, you are so showy, is this okay? It's the first time I've seen that I can still control the ball by myself. You're better than Mutombo. Bulls fans yelled. Everyone knows Uncle Moo's Cap Cow Batch, the league's famous block king, the best defensive player. Uncle Moo and Yao Ming were a team, and every time they gave each other a big hot pot cap, Uncle Mu habitually dangled his fingers. That means saying, little brother, you can't do it, go to a layup in front of me, have you bought medical insurance? Episode 47. Compared to Uncle Mu, he greeted the other party with gestures. Qin Yang's wave of self-cover self-robbery, blinding the eyes of the general public. 24K pure titanium alloy. Do you still have this fun? Block yourself and control the ball yourself. Several people in Ross were dumbfounded. In a daze, Qin Yang threw his hand and passed the ball out. Catch the ball, push fast, attack. Qin Yang's shouts sounded in his ears, and the Ross several people woke up from their shock. Receiving Qin Yang's pass, Ross quickly attacked quickly. First-class awareness, superb positional dribbling, drastically changing direction to throw off the opposite Nelson. Ross burrowed into the paint area. Petrus and Tekoglu returned in time, and Ross saw no chance. Raise your hand and continue to pass the ball, to Noah, who followed. Noah braved the box with the ball and twisted to make it 2+1. Noah is still okay, that is, sometimes it drops the chain, and it is okay to play normally. With a small braid, he looks quite coquettish. Noah, who scored 2+1, roared up to the sky. On the Bulls, Noah is the least existential one. Earlier, Qin Yang did not come, and Noah was still very useful in the Bulls, grabbing both sides of the offensive and defensive ends. And with Qin Yang joining the Bull, Noah is equivalent to a transparent person. More often to free up space for Qin Yang to attack, he was pulled to the weak side of the short corner and became the blue-collar type number 4. Of course, Noah can also play center. This time he scored 2+1, and Noah was quite excited, and roared while shaking his fists. Standing at the free throw line, Noah hit and added a free throw. Noah's free throws are hilarious. He's the kind of ladies' inner 8 type free throw. Watching him make free throws feels a little spicy to the eye. Qin Yang secretly said, a big man with a height of 210 centimeters. You use the shooting posture of the girl in the 8 type? It's really yours. As I said, playing ball is a lot like Kunkin. Haha, Noah's ladies in her 8-type shooting posture looks a little awkward, but it is good to score. Winter, the commentator, also felt spicy eyes. However, it is not a big problem. There is an old saying in the country of dragons, if you manage black cats and white cats, you can catch mice, and you are good cats. This goal, don't care what people shoot, as long as you can score, it's a good goal. With Noah tied 2+1, the Bulls were ahead of the Magic even more. At this moment, there are only 3 minutes left before the end of the game. In 3 minutes, the Bulls led the Magic by 12 points. There is still a chance to chase, the key depends on how the Magic team plays. Stan Van Gundy called another wave of timeouts and tapped the tactical board. They were ready to grab 3 points, and only 3 points could tie the score. Qin Yang saw their intentions and gave you the opportunity to score 2 points. Want to score 3s? No way. Therefore, Qin Yang personally proposed to implement an oppressive defense, making it difficult for Nelson and Petrus to shoot. Petrus was outside the bottom corner 3-point line and ignored Qin Yang's shot. A big slap in the face. How could Atsushi Murasakibara, who can defend from the 3-point line to the paint area, make Petrus ignore the 3-point shot? This slap was so hard that the basketball flew out more than 10 meters in the air, and finally smashed on the head of a fan. The fan threw the basketball back happily, and instead of getting angry, he raised his thumb at Qin Yang. This game was simply a performance by Qin Yang alone. Big hot pot caps are flying all over the sky. What happened to Warcraft Howard? Is he hanging? It wasn't the same as Qin Yang covering 3 in a row. In this game, Qin Yang has already cut a large triple-double. 35 points, 14 rebounds, and so far, 9 blocks. 9 blocks per game. What kind of fairy operation is this? Uncle Mu caps the cow batch, and he doesn't dare to say that he can casually blast down 9 caps. Omega. China Qin continues to offer us a hot pot feast. If the data is correct, this is already China Qin's 9th cap. His defense is too fierce. At the end of the regular season, this year's best defensive player, Block King, and best defensive team, there will definitely be a place for China Qin. A Smith smiled and spoke. Qin Yang statistics, proper Block King, best defensive team, including the best defensive player of the year. The game is not over yet. 9 blocks have been brushed. The data brush is not approved by Qin Yang cattle. Haha, yes, at the end of the regular season, I am optimistic that China Qin Li will beat Derrick and win the honor of the best rookie. Yes, the best rookie also belongs to China Qin. This Dragon Country kid is the most dominant insider I have ever seen. There is no one. Shaq when he was young, none of this guy is perverted. On the technical stage, the 2 commentators praised Qin Yang, and Qin Yang on the court still didn't feel tired, and he was galloping up to defend. Every time Qin Yang went to defend that person, he was scared to make a deformation. When Nelson faced Qin Yang again, he no longer dared to shoot, and hurriedly threw the pot to Howard, letting Howard play a 2-pointer. Stan Van Gundy's 3-point tactic failed. They lost to the Chicago Bulls, losing to the Bulls 88-102. The referee blew the final whistle, and the Bulls were under no pressure to win 3 straight for the new season. The Magic, on the other hand, swallowed the defeat in shame. After the game, Howard was angry, immediately remembering that he was playing happy basketball. His faceplate showed the trademark smile of a big boy. He also rubbed to Qin Yang's side and spoke. Hi. Qin, you played great, but I know that the next time we meet, I will kick your ass. Qin Yang listened. Good guy. You've all been abused like this bear by your brother, and you're still pretending to be 13 there? Okay. After all, people are all-star players, so they have to give some face. Qin Yang smiled and said, okay Dwight, next time we continue to fight, I hope you can play your best. I like to kick each other's asses with others. Shit, if you say this, I'm relieved, so you wait for us to have a rematch. Howard finished speaking, walking towards the player tunnel. Qin Yang looked at old Hwa's distant back and pouted. The next time they met, it was Howard who was kicked in the ass by him. This will never change. Episode 48. End of the game statistics. Qin Yang is still the boss of the Bulls. Today's Chicago people, including the Bulls management, have reacted. Derrick Rose, the star they drafted, is not the team's top scorer. The number one scorer is Qin Yang. In this game against the Orlando Magic, Qin Yang slashed 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 blocks. Rose chipped in 27 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists. Noah had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Roldan had 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Ben Gordon had 18 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. The substitute players are not fully counted. Just look at the data table. Qin Yang's number one superstar originally thought that Qin Yang would replace the injured Derrick in the battle and briefly assist Ross. As a result, who would have thought that after 3 games, it would become Ross to assist Qin Yang, and Dingadin, who was injured and recuperating at home, has come to the team. He was embarrassed to find that he was coming, but he couldn't go back. Find the coaching staff, Vinny Dinagro told him. If you stay with the Bulls, you will play China Qin's bench. If not, the team will find an opportunity to trade you. Going to the management again, Foreman said the same as Pu Dinagro, asking Dunguden to play a substitute for Qin Yang. Dunguden was so angry that he almost had a seizure of epilepsy. Is it good that he is also a veteran who has been fighting in the alliance for many years, and he has actually been reduced to being a substitute for a short-term worker? Foreman told him very sternly that China Qin was no longer a substitute, but the core of the team. The core 2 words caused Dingadin to be dizzy. Foreman also told Dunguden that the Bulls wanted to invest in Qin Yang for a long time. In the future, Qin Yang will be the cash cow of the Bulls and the number 1 cultivation player of the Bulls. The same status as Derrick. Even in a way, higher than Derrick. Receiving Foreman's answer, Dunguden didn't have the slightest temper. He knew that in just 3 games, Qin Yang had completely gained a foothold in the NBA. Chicago Bulls want to invest in Qin Yang for a long time. Everyone knows what long-term investment means. In the future, in Chicago, Qin Yang is the absolute main force, and the team's status is unshakable. Thinking about this, Dunguden did not argue, and was willingly to be Qin Yang's substitute. After a year's salary, he asked the Bulls to trade him for another team next season and find a way out. After accepting the post-match press conference, Qin Yang said goodbye to the coaching staff and teammates one after another, walked out of the Union Center arena, but was brutally besieged. Many fans held flowers in their hands, held up Qin Yang's nameplate, and shouted loudly China Qin. A few small fans ran to Qin Yang and asked for autographs. Boy, growing so big, Qin Yang still enjoyed the taste of being a superstar for the first time. Playing in the development league in the past, he was still a humble substitute. The moment he walked out of the arena, no one paid attention to him. Now children, beautiful women, young women, old men, and old ladies know his name. China Qin, don't go first, take a photo? Several white girls rushed to Qin Yang and begged to take a photo together. There were also a few black girls who were naughty and asked Qin Yang why he preferred purple hairstyles. Although the United States is an open and free country, there are also those who dye green hair. However, looking at the street, purple hair is really rare. Qin Yang replied to them with a smile. Because he loved purple, he dyed purple. The black girls nodded thoughtfully. Oh my god. China Qin, you really have taste, don't hide it. We also like purple, and in the future, like you, we will also dye purple hair. Qin Yang smiled and did not answer again. After taking photos with a few girls, he hailed a taxi and left the Union Center. Back in the den, Qin Yang thought to himself, this was his last night living in this hut. Tomorrow, Rich Paul helped him complete the follow-up process of the big contract, and the $40 million arrived in the account, and he immediately bought a mansion in downtown Chicago. With a wonderful mood, Qin Yang fell asleep. I woke up and it was 10 o'clock the next morning. Rich Paul called on time and told Qin Yang that the contract process was complete. The salary of $40 million will arrive in the afternoon. In fact, strictly speaking, there are not 40 million after the arrival of the account. It would be good that Qin Yang could get more than 30 million points. Rich Paul ate 4% of the reward, which is $16 million. In addition, playing in the NBA, taxes are very powerful. Intercontinental taxes, federal taxes. Chicago is located in the Illinois state of the west central part of the United States. Qin Yang needs to pay a tax to the state of Illinois first, and then another fee to the federal government. The two expenses add up, and there must be more than 5 million. Rich Paul, 16 million. That's a total of 66 million. The final salary was about 33 million. Grandma drops, blood-sucking steamed buns that eat people without spitting out bones. Paying so many taxes at once, Lao Tzu's hard-earned money earned by playing hard was all divided by these bastards. Qin Yang felt a pain in his flesh. But there is no way, since you make money on people's territory, you must abide by people's laws. At 6 o'clock in the afternoon, Rich Paul came to find Qin Yang. Qin Yang was given a distinguished gold card of the Mi Fed, which was full of Qin Yang's salary for the Bulls. Hey! Qin, the contract process has been completed, you hold this card, and the salary is all in it. Richie Paul was just as well dressed as that day. Dressed in Armani's light purple suit, for some reason, he always likes to wear these bells and whistles. Sensing Qin Yang's gaze on his suit, Richie Paul smiled, oh. Qin, don't look at me with such strange eyes. I specially wore the suit to set off your hair color. How? Isn't it cool? Well, that's pretty cool. Qin Yang nodded perfunctorily, and then asked, my salary is all in it? Is there any deduction for your 16 million remuneration? Qin. How dare we deduct it privately? This card is bound to your identity certificate, and you have to go to the mid-Fed and let the staff help you enter your fingerprints. After all this is done, you can use this card normally. Oh, so it is, that's bothering you. Qin Yang smiled and patted Richie Paul's shoulder. I'll get these right and give you 4% of the remuneration. Qin, you're welcome, these are all things we should do. Rich Paul laughed happily, immediately seeing the money back. Can he not be happy? Without much effort, I made 16 million US dollars. Anyone who rests on this matter is happy. Not to mention, even if you don't play in the future, a few Fox friends and dog friends, it's good to learn from Rich Paul to open an agency. Find a few more NBA stars in the league and you will definitely earn a lot of money. Episode 49. At 7 o'clock in the evening, Qin Yang saw off Richie Paul. Looking at the golden Fed bank card in his hand, Qin Yang was quite excited. He knew that from now on he would no longer suffer and be poor, all his efforts. Cough. It was the system's efforts that finally paid off. Like most people, to make a lot of money, the first thing to do is find someone to share. Parents are naturally the first to share with them. Traveling back to this era, the city was only two relatives, Qin Jingshan and Zhao Yaru, so Qin Yang dialed his father Qin Jingshan's phone. Toot toot. Busy sounded twice, but the voice from the earpiece was her mother Zhao Yaru. Yang, are you calling? Yang is Qin Yang's diminutive name. In the memory of the predecessor, her mother Zhao Yaru has always called it that. Mom, where's my dad? Qin Yang asked. Your dad is taking a shower, and his phone is on the coffee table in the living room. Is there something wrong with your dad? Zhao Yaru was a little jealous and said, can't I find your mother and me if something happens? Why do you have to find your father? Mom, why are you still like a child? Qin Yang was quite speechless, and his mother Zhao Yaru was too jealous. If there is something to find Qin Jingshan, so that if she does not look for her, she will mumble that Qin Yang is so big. It's the same tonight, I'm jealous on the phone. You smelly boy, why am I like a child? Am I not right? You can also find me if you have something. There is no need to find your father. Zhao Yaru hummed. Qin Yang had a black line. Okay, then I'll find you. Call your second elder this time. There is something to say. In the future, you and my father both quit their jobs. Don't work hard outside. What do you mean? Zhao Yaru was stunned. Don't have to go to work? How do you feed your family when you don't go to work? Zhao Yaru muttered. Yang, your father and I don't go to work. How can I support this family? In the future, you will have to get married and have children, which will cost money. Qin Yang smiled slightly and said, Mom, from now on, your son will not be short of money, and our family can live a moderately prosperous life. It's not quite right. It's not a well-off life. It should be a rich life. Anyway, you two quit your jobs, and you can retire at home in the future. Qin Yang's tone was proud. As a son, parents who earn a lot of money to support their family do not have to work hard all their lives. This sense of achievement is the feeling that every son and daughter wants to experience the most. When Zhao Yaru heard this, she was stunned again. Rich people live? Since she and her husband Qin Jingshan smuggled to Chicago in the last century, she has not dared to expect a rich life. A well-off life does not dare to be extravagant. At this time, her son told her that our family was not short of money. Zhao Yaru went from stunned to excited to shocked. Several emotions occur in just a few seconds. Who? Is it a stinky boy's phone? At this time, the voice of his father Qin Jingshan was faintly heard in the earpiece. Zhao Yaru was stunned and said, it's Yang's call. Yang told me to let us both quit our jobs, and said that our family will not lack money in the future. Qin Jingshan. His first reaction was the same as Zhao Yaru, and he was immediately stunned in place. Then strode over, took the mobile phone, and said with an excited expression, smelly boy, shouldn't you have signed a big contract? Qin Jingshan is a basketball fan who often follows the NBA. He knows more about the NBA than Zhao Yaru. I know that NBA players have high salaries. As long as they are famous, they can earn tens of millions of dollars a year. More well-known big-name stars earn more. The salary alone is tens of millions of dollars, including various endorsement fees. These incomes add up, and over the course of a year, it is estimated that there is an income of 100 million US dollars. Could it be that son signed a big contract in the NBA? If it weren't for that, I wouldn't dare to say such a big thing. Threatened that their family would not be short of money in the future. Qin Yang smiled and spoke. Yes, Dad, I signed a big contract with the Bulls, and you will live with me in the future, and I am ready to buy a house in the near future. This, Qin Jingshan was stunned again, and Zhao Yaru on the side looked excited. It is said that hope for a son to become a dragon. Who doesn't want their son to have a chance? The couple waited for this day for years. Finally, my son has made a new breakthrough and a new development in his basketball career. Stinky boy, what price did you sign with the Bulls? If memory serves, this is only the third game you've played with the Bulls. Qin Jingshan was not stupid. He knew that Qin Yang had only played 3 games with the Bulls. In these 3 games, Qin Jingshan has watched them all. He didn't have time to watch the live broadcast at work, so he came back to watch the replay. The son played explosive and played a phenomenal performance. As a father, Qin Jingshan felt extremely proud. Qin Yang knew that sharing this kind of thing with his parents required the second elder to digest it a little. After suffering and being poor all my life, suddenly I have a lot of money, and my parents are reluctant to spend it and don't believe it much. After fixing his mind, Qin Yang replied, yes, I have only played 3 games with the Bulls, but the Bulls management is very important to me, so they can be regarded as renewing my contract in advance. I signed a 2-year contract with the team, a big contract worth 40 million. After Qin Yang finished speaking, the other end of the phone did not respond. Qin Jingshan held the mobile phone and looked at Zhao Yaru standing in front of him sluggishly. The couple looked at each other a few times, and both saw something called shock in each other's eyes. Many how much? A 2-year, $40 million big contract? Million? Are you sure it's not 40,000? Earlier, Qin Yang played in the development league, and after a year, he couldn't even earn 100,000. And now it's changed, earning 4 million. This huge contrast made the husband and wife wide-eyed. Hoo. Qin Jingshan and Zhao Yaru's breathing began to be rapid. After an unknown time, Qin Jingshan asked in a trembling voice, Stinky boy, your mother and I didn't hear much. You repeat, how much? 4 million? Are you sure it's not 40,000? Episode 50. Dad, that's $40 million, not 40,000. Qin Yang smiled bitterly and shook his head. Their parents have been poor all their lives, and there is so much money in the family at once, and it is reasonable that Qin Jingshan and Zhao Yaru do not believe it. This isn't really 40 million? Zhao Yaru held on the phone. My family Yang is so powerful. Have you already made $40 million? Old Qin, I said back then, our family Yang must not be an ordinary child. Now it has been verified, Yang has earned $40 million. Zhao Yaru was so excited that she almost hugged Qin Jingshan and kissed the two. Qin Jingshan was still in shock and confusion. The son actually earned $40 million. Stinky boy, when are you coming back? Qin Jingshan swallowed a mouthful of spit and asked dumbfoundedly. I'll go back tomorrow morning. You don't have to go to work, I'm serious. Since you have the ability to make a lot of money, there is no need to let your parents work tirelessly. Isn't it fragrant for the elderly at home? Okay, your mother and I are waiting for you to come over tomorrow. Is there anything else? It's gone. Qin Jingshan nodded and instructed uneasily, Stinky boy, now that you have money, you can't be blind, you have to save a little flour. Also, don't get contaminated with those illegal and taboo things, a gamble, a due product, you must not touch. Because he often pays attention to the NBA, Qin Jingshan knows that many NBA players start to float after they make a lot of money. Some people like to gamble, some people like do, and some guys love nightclubs. The little prince of the nightclub, in the early years there was Iverson, later Harden. Rumor has it that Kobe got up at 4 in the morning to practice. Harden, on the other hand, came out of a Houston nightclub at 4 am. Both went out at 4 am. The difference is that one who sees Los Angeles at 4 in the morning is for practice, and the other saw Houston at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was actually to flirt with the girl. Qin Yang listened to his father's instructions and bowed his head slightly. Tomorrow morning, go to my parents' place. By the way, activate this Midbank Premium Gold card. Following, Qin Yang got up early and asked head coach Winnie Dinegro for a day off. Then drive to the Federal Reserve Bank of Me to activate his prestigious gold card. It's quite troublesome. First show identification, then enter fingerprints, reset passwords, etc. Do all this, and under the guidance of the staff, this gold card can be used. Checking the balance, looking at the long list of zeros in the card, Qin Yang suddenly refreshed. It's a wonderful feeling to go from poor to rich in just a few days. Do you want to get a whole car first? Qin Yangjing muttered to himself. Although he has not studied luxury cars since he was a child, he only loves snacks. But men, when they go out, luxury cars are a face. With luxury cars, you can be respected by others wherever you go. And driving a luxury car comes with an identity bonus, which is obvious. For example, a very simple example. Going out to flirt with girls, with a luxury car, and without a luxury car, those are completely different concepts. You can complain that most of the women in this year are gold worshippers, but there is no way. People are real animals. Women, in particular, become more and more realistic as adults. If you have time, go and get a luxury car. What brand to buy? Ferrari? Lamborghini? Bugatti Veyron? No, this thing is too luxurious. A Bugatti Veyron. It is said that tens of millions of US dollars. Buy a Bugatti Veyron. The salary is all dry in 2 years. And Qin Yang also knows that Bugatti Veyron is a world-class famous car. You can't buy it if you want to. You need to order it from the manufacturer in advance. And whether the manufacturer sells or not, it depends on the comprehensive index of the owner. That said, the Bugatti Veyron has always been a limited edition. Money does not necessarily buy it, but also depends on the identity and status of the car owner in society. Keep a low profile. The whole Phantom Rolls-Royce. Qin Yang muttered mindfully, and the taxi had arrived at his parents' door. This is the slum of Chicago, and the residents are mainly black. Second, Asians and Latinos are in the minority. When he was a child, Qin Yang grew up here, and he has long been accustomed to the dirty and chaotic environment here. Qin Jingshan and Zhao Yaru did not go to work, pushed open the door, and saw the second elder. Mom and Dad. Qin Yang said hello. Qin Jingshan and Zhao Yaru turned their heads and found that their son was coming. Zhao Yaru ran over and looked at Qin Yang, who was much taller than her, with a proud expression on her face. Yang, you came, did you eat? Your dad and I haven't moved our chopsticks yet, so we're waiting for you to come back and eat. I ate some at the roadside store. Qin Yang was not hungry, looked around the crowded rental house in front of him, and said, let's go, don't eat first, go back and finish things, let's have a big meal. Yang, you want to take me and your father out? Zhao Yaru was puzzled, where are we going? Of course, I went to see the house, this time you two elders are in charge, which set you fancy, we will buy which one? For buying a house, Qin Yang was willing to pay for his blood. Back in 2008, property prices around the world had the opportunity to skyrocket. Although the United States is a developed country and has a wide range of people, it is similar to the Dragon Country in terms of local administration. Land and real estate finances, especially luxury houses, have a lot of room for appreciation. In 2008, luxury home prices in Chicago were reasonable. Buy it and wait for the appreciation. More than 10 years have passed, it will definitely double. I read a report before crossing that after Yao Ming made a lot of money, he bought 5 properties in Houston. Now that I have money on hand, invest in a wave of luxury houses first. Even if you don't live in the future, you can make some money by selling it. To figure this out, a mansion is a must. Today I took my parents to see the house, the second elder took a fancy, and he felt satisfied, so he bought it. From now on, live a life of humanity.